Obviously, the season of the Haunted Story is wrapped up, and now we're kind of in the slow part of the season where people are going to be focusing on trying to do extra achievements, stuff in PvP, specifically Iron Banner and Trials, and then also, Grandmaster Nightfalls are obviously a big one that people want to complete to get the Conquer title. But I was messing around with a couple different builds. Again, Solar 3.0 options right now are absolutely ridiculous, especially with the artifact mods, and I want to take advantage of that with an exotic that used to be really good and it kind of got nerfed, but I found a way to make it very, I would say pretty viable in PvE activities. But I'm going to be making a Solar 3.0 build with the Dawn Chorus Exotic Helmet for the Warlock. But before we get into it, if you guys need help with the Duality dungeon, I will be doing runs periodically throughout the season just to help some people out who haven't had the opportunity to get a completion on it. But if you do want help with that, be sure to follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/ItsDaveTVGaming. That link will be in the description. Again, I stream 3 days a week, and I typically dedicate one of those days to doing Duality carries, so keep that in mind. And then also be sure to join my Discord. That link will be in the description as well. That's going to be the best way for us to communicate back and forth. Plus, we got other topics in there like PC tech, anime, and a bunch of other stuff. Alright, let's dive into the build. So obviously the exotic we're using is the Dawn Chorus. Its perk, Rites of Ember. Your Daybreak projectiles cause targets to Scorch on contact. Your Scorch effects deal more damage, and you gain a small amount of melee energy each time your Scorch effects damage a target. Again, previously, the perk used to be different, and with Solar, before Solar 3.0, you can make a giant explosions build pretty much, and so we had to kind of change up some of the fragments and the aspects and whatnot, which is what I'm going to be diving into next. So super wise here, I'm going with Daybreak for, obvious reasons, because you get the extra perks on the helmet. Ability wise, again, class ability doesn't really matter. I'm not going to be using classy restoration on here, so this will be viable outside of this season a little bit, but again, you can use any of these. I just have Phoenix dive on. We have Burst Glide, Incinerator Snap for obvious reasons. Again, that's the new melee. And then the Healing Grenade. Again, the grenade that cures allies on impact and creates an orb of benevolent solar light, granting restoration to allies when picked up. And with Touch of Flame, it actually gives us restoration ×2, which is obviously the big thing that we want out of this. My other aspect is Heat Rises. Again, you can fire your weapons, melee, and throw grenades while you're gliding. And again, if you have Heat Rises, by consuming your grenade, it releases a burst of healing around you. And also your final blows while airborne increase the duration of Heat Rises and grant melee energy. So again, we have multiple ways to get melee energy back, just like I mentioned in the exotic. But again, if you wanted to do Icarus Dash, you could. These are just the two that I'm using. Fragment wise though, I am using Ember of Torches. Powered melee attacks against combatants make you and nearby allies radiant, which is great. Ember of Char, your solar ignition spreads Scorch to affected targets. Next we have Ember of Empyrean. Again, any solar or ability final blows extend the duration of restoration and radiant effects applied to you. And then we have Ember of Eruption. Your solar ignitions have increased area of effect. Again, I know people are probably like, Dave, why aren't you using Ember of Souls? I feel like if I chain enough kills, I really don't need it to last longer, considering once I get it rolling, it's going to be pretty hard to stop it. Going over mods, main things to note here. Explosive Wellmaker, rapidly defeating combatants with explosive damage spawns Solar Elemental Well. Again, we're going to be trying to cause a bunch of explosions here, so this will help out. For the gauntlets, we have Bountiful Wells, Elemental Well mods that cause you to spawn an Elemental Well, now stack spawning an additional well for each additional copy of the mod that you have equipped. For the chest piece, we have Melee Wellmaker, again, powered melee combatant final blows spawn Elemental Wells matching your subclass energy type, so again, we're on a Solar subclass, it's going to be a Solar Well. For the boots here, we have Font of Might. Picking up an Elemental Well that matches your subclass energy type grants a temporary bonus to weapon damage of that same elemental type. On the class item here, for the Elemental Well mod, I have Well of Ordnance. Again, if I pick up Solar Elemental Wells, it gives me grenade energy. Then I have two of the mods from the artifact. So I have Raise of Precision, while your Radiant Solar Precision final blows cause combatants to ignite, and then Solar Fulmination, your ignitions do increased damage in an increased radius. And then weapon-wise, I just have my Callus Mini Tool here with Incandescent. This perk is going to be the key one here. Again, this can come on the Callus Mini Tool and the Drang. I just have Callus Mini Tool because I like it a little better, and I feel like I can consistently hit precision shots a lot more to proc Raise Precision. But pretty much, defeating a target spreads Scorch to those nearby. More powerful combatants and opposing guardians cause Scorch in a larger radius. Again, we're going to be scorching a lot of targets. We want to get our melee back. Incandescent is just something that's going to help us out a lot. If you can't tell the synergy here, we want to get a melee hit, so we get Radiant. Again, toss our Healing Grenade on the ground at our feet, so we get Restoration ×2, and then we can start chaining kills with the Callus Mini Tool to be able to keep those up and running with the Ember of Empyrean here, obviously. But then also, with something like Explosive Wellmaker and Melee Wellmaker, it's going to spawn Solar Elemental Wells. Again, with Bountiful Wells, that'll make it ×2. Then we have Font Might, which will increase our solar weapon damage. So again, Callous Mini Tool will do more damage. And then also with the mods here on the class item, with Well of Ordnance, we're going to get that grenade back faster just in case if we need it. And then we're going to also be causing giant explosions because we're radiant from the melee. Solar weapon precision kills cause an explosion. And again, with Solar Fulmination, that ignition is going to be bigger. With Ember of Eruption, that ignition is going to be bigger. Oh, by the way, Ember of Char, your solar ignition spread scorch some more targets. Again, any targets that are scorched from incandescent, your melee, or any of the ignitions that go off, that gives you melee energy, so you have your melee back. You can kind of tell the synergy here, right? Now, if you did want to substitute in any mods here, again, you could go with something like Well of Life for Bountiful Wells. Again, you pick up a Solar Elemental Well, it gives you increased, health regeneration for a short time, or maybe replace it with Elemental Armament so you have another way to create wells. But I just find Bountiful Wells, something that's going to be a little more consistent than this one, considering, it's an escalating chance to spawn a Solar Elemental Well when you get a weapon kill that matches the same energy type. So I'm like, I don't find that useful at all. And the only problem here of trying to do something with, high energy fire, whether you're trying to do taking charge to pick up orbs to become, charge of light to get that bonus weapon damage, or using elemental charge. Again, if we're going to be picking up solar elemental wells, we're going to get charge of light ×2. The only issue is that with the class item is that Solar Fulmination and Razor Precision already take up 9 spots, which is really bad. If you wanted to get rid of Solar Fulmination and then maybe put in high energy fire here in this slot, you totally could. But again, I'm like, I really want the giant explosions to go off. So if you did want to do something like that, you could, maybe you could replace Bountiful Wells with Elemental Charge and then do, Font Might for high energy fire. You could do that. Again, there's a multitude of options here, and I think we all understand that with Solar 3.0 and Void 3.0 and then Arc 3.0 coming out next season, is that there are going to be a bunch of options and stuff to mess around with whenever there's artifact mods or just new stuff in the game. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is my Solar 3.0 Dawn Chorus Explosions build. Again, some of this stuff might not be viable next season considering we won't have Solar Fulmination or Razor Precision, but I have a feeling we'll be able to still do something with Incandescent and being able to make sure targets can still ignite pretty easily, being able to have our melee up because of Dawn Chorus. But in any event, guys, if you like what you saw, again, you can always drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn that bell next to notifications so you don't miss out on another video. Also, now that we're partnered on YouTube, we do have the memberships option. So again, that's going to give you access to exclusive emotes and monthly badges depending on how long you're subscribed, all that great jazz. You already guys know pretty much how that works. If you do want to check it out, awesome. That's going to be down below the video here, but if not, that is totally fine. In all honesty, I just appreciate you guys watching the videos and leaving likes and comments. Speaking of that, again, if you have any weapons or just builds you guys want me to look at or just mess around with, again, leave that in the comments. Trust me, I'm messing around with so much stuff in this game all the time. It's ridiculous. Also, if you want to keep up to date with me, again, you can always follow me on Twitter at ItsDaveTV. And like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you do need help with the Duality, follow me on Twitch and join my Discord. We'd be happy to help you out. But anyway, guys, catch you in the next video. Cheers.